Hey y'all, welcome back to Muddy Paws Disc Golf. Last week we played West Wind's Disc Golf Course. West Wind's was brand new. We played on opening day, but our cameras malfunctioned and we had to go back. West Wind's is planning to become a premier course with a restroom and a restaurant as well. There are no tee pads at the current time, but this is stage 1 of the course development. Hole 1 is just under 300 feet. We played the amateur pads, which is the second hardest option behind the pro option.
Big skip. Oh, base of the tree. Take it. So bad.
We all end up tossing in here for par on
Nice.
the first hole. This course is extremely out in the open, and if you do come play, I highly suggest you bring a lot of water. It is a ton of walking. Hole 2 is a low tunnel shot just at the beginning, and then you have to curve it around that tree to the left. The basket sits right in there.
Jeez, dude. Alright, move to one side. Get out of the way. Move. It's alright.
Matt, you didn't move.
Move.
Good shot. Oh, way to save it, Dad. Matt and Dad lay up for threes, and I'm able to hit an easy putt
Nice birdie.
for 2.
Nice shot, Matt.
Hole 3 is a straightforward hole with a sand trap
It's okay.
right before the basket.
Yep.
Good safe shot. I decide just to throw a mid-range here and land it so I avoid the danger of the sand trap. That was something interesting about this course.
Carry.
I do feel that the sand traps were slightly
Don't carry
overused,
too far.
but it was an interesting idea to have sand traps as we don't usually have those in disc golf. It added a challenge I wasn't used to.
Good up. Ah.
Ahead. And we all end up with pars here as well.
Barely, boy.
Like 10 or 11. Hole 4 is 557 feet, par 4 from the am, and par 3 for the pros. My shot goes a little shorter than I would have liked, but it gets up there
Turn
nonetheless.
Get up there. Sit down.
Matt's carries a little far left, but he's okay.
Not even. Way over there.
Dad tosses up. Where'd that go?
A long putt.
Oh.
All right. Nice lead.
I just shot up there to go around that bush. And here we all tap in
Yeah, go ahead.
for our pars.
For Dad.
Yeah.
Hole 5 is one of the easiest holes on the course. You're just going to basically shoot it straight at the basket. It's not very long, it's a mid-range shot, and it should be parked, yet somehow we found a way not to.
Oh, stable up. If it comes back. Okay. That's good. Get up there.
Sit.
Get up there.
Oh.
Matt can't make it happen. Jack can't make it happen.
Man. Oh.
But Dad is able to pull it off. So Dad gets a birdie, and me and Matt both get bars.
That has to be a birdie.
Really, that should be a birdie. Hole 6 follows the same kind of form as some of the other holes, as it is just a straight shot with a sand trap before the basket. This one is slightly more difficult though, as the whole cart path to the left is OB.
You're good. Good shot.
I'm able to lay mine right before the sand trap.
It's better. You're fine though.
Get it.
I lay
Yeah,
up
it's
for
parked.
3.
Not too far.
No.
How far was it?
Matt also lays up, but gets a horrible roll.
Oh,
Dad almost sinks. Matt is
Nice
able to
putt.
sink for
Nice
3.
putt. Can you get mine?
I sink for 3 as well. And I put Dad's in, well, almost. Hole 7 is 757 feet from the pro tee pads. We figured it's about 700 from the AMs.
Move.
Dad gets into a roller here. Interesting choice, didn't turn out
Don't
too
pull it
bad.
up.
I throw my nuke here and it lands pretty close to where Dad's roller did. Could have had more power on that, but is what it is. Matt throws one with a good amount of whip, but just way too high. Fades back.
stable up. Stable up.
Dad throws a nice forehand approach. And is about 20 out.
Bounce. Oh. Get up. Not bad.
Just kidding, we were all like 60 out.
Oh,
The perspective
I had
on
the
this
right
course
arc.
is crazy since it's so open. You totally lose track of how far away you are from the basket. Dad is still able to cage. We all end up with bogeys on this hole.
Oh. Don't roll. God, that was so
Hole 8
Yeah, that's
is
five over.
We just
down a
sucked him
hill
out.
and
Always
then
mad
a
anyway.
right fade, so really a four-handers hole.
Fade. Oh, there it goes.
I just want to say par here. I don't want to.
Matt throws a mid-range
good, though.
here,
That's
hoping
gonna be
to
good.
avoid the fade.
Fade right in the middle. That's what you have
And
to
he ends
do.
up
You aim at that
pretty
big green
okay.
tree up there. Just.
Great. I just didn't mean to do that. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Nope.
Still gonna fade.
What?
I throw my nuke and it ends up going OB. Yeah, I really struggled on this hole. I mean, just the lack of being able to drive with a forehand was detrimental.
Fade. Get up. I got
Fade.
Parked. Get it. Oh.
So Matt gets a 4 here. And I miss and end up with a double bogey. Dad gets a 3. Not happy about it. Hole 9 is just an uphill chuck. By this point, we were all starting to get kind of tired because of all the walking. But that's our fault, not the course's.
Good shot.
Dad has an okay shot, but it just goes into the trees.
Inbounds.
Doesn't get even a little fade. Matt keeps it nice and low. I think that's the play here. It avoids the sand traps, and you also don't get as much fade. But it gets the best of me, and I throw it up way too high and end up just fading back. Not a great couple holes for me.
Nice.
Matt tosses up here.
Nice shot.
And then Dad, the cart path is not OB on this one. Throws a forehand, doesn't get quite enough distance, but still able to clutch the putt to save par. Matt will also par. I sink par as well. Hole 10 is a hard right-hander. There are a couple plays here. You can throw it straight and then try to forehand in, or take that hard curve in. We all elected to pretty much go straight with a little bit of right fade if you can, and then just toss it up in there for par. Matt gets up a tiny bit, but he'll be alright.
Alright, so in front.
Ready?
Yeah. That's a nice, safe shot.
And I'm able to keep my shot pretty low and land it right where I want it.
Throw it way up there. Nice
Sneak
shot.
the trees there and end up pretty close to the basket. Dad just throws it a little bit too close to the basket and it fades out.
Yeah.
3s all around once again on this one. 11 is a longer hole with a left-hand fade and a sand trap before the basket.
Big fade.
Could be birdie.
I don't know about birdie, but
Yeah, I've been filming.
yeah, see, you guys.
Horrible jump putt. And Matt hits the long one to get a birdie. I get it in for par, almost a tap, and Dad basically taps for par. Hole 12 should be a par 4. This hole is ridiculously hard, even from the amateur tees, and everyone I've seen online has been saying that this is a par 4. It's one of the few errors I've seen in the course design. Really, this course is designed quite well. This hole is just ridiculously hard for what it is.
Big fade.
I chuck it up over the OB, but I get enough fade, and I end up in bounds. And Dad has a really good drive. That's right where you want to be. Throw a forehand right to the mouth of the opening. Dad does the same, except better. And Matt's pretty good too. I tossed it up on a really weird angle there.
Safe play.
Matt lands it right in. Oh, and Dad cages, almost getting the impossible par. Hole 13 is another uphill shot with a sand trap right before the basket.
Shot. Get up.
Lays it up there.
Yeah.
And Matt also throws it up there. And I feel like I threw my first of 2 real rippers on this hole. I really like this shot. I just liked the amount of
Nice,
distance
just
it
short of the
got. It
basket.
felt good coming out of the hand. Matt lays his in, avoids the sand. I go for a longer jump putt for him to avoid the sand. I do alright. And Dad just barely gets out of it.
Barely.
Matt almost
Or
missed
Dad.
that. And I tap Dad's in. We're all parred. Hole 14 after a long walk is 328 across a field. Pretty simple shot. Somehow found a way to mess it
okay,
up
stay out of the
and
woods,
threw
you're
it
good.
into the woods. Almost. I am right on the edge.
Oh, wait, I'm not
Matt,
ready.
on the other hand, is able to throw a pretty
Do it
good
again.
shot
Fade back in.
and gets a nice fade right into the general direction of the hole. Dad goes the other way and decides to kind of go for a little flex and ends up pretty decent. Pretty much forced to lay up even though I almost hit it. Dad cages once again.
Yeah.
He has had a hard
Go
time
ahead,
with
Jack.
caging this round.
Woo!
Matt once again sinks a birdie.
Yeah.
And Dad goes in for par. 15 is just a super long hole with a lot of OB. Just big sand traps everywhere and a basket up on a hill. By this point, if you haven't drank enough water, you're probably dying because the whole walk from
Couldn't be
14 to
better.
15 and part of the walk from 13 to 14 is all in the sun, and they're all pretty long walks. Matt, there's a pretty strong shot right there. Dad forehands it, does not get exactly what he wants.
Oh.
I get a nice par here that I did not get the first time around on this course.
And I don't.
Dad gets a par as well, and Matt taps for 4. 16 is going to be a straight shot, and then you throw it up onto the steep hillside for the putt. My first shot is just a backhand sort of flex shot
That was a little too much
to get it down there in the middle. Dad does something pretty similar. Matt throws it up high, almost loses his hat, and it just somehow stays up and goes pretty much parallel with the basket. Pretty decent drive.
Good shot.
Dad throws a beautiful forehand, lands right next to it. My forehand isn't too bad either.
That'll work.
I land close-ish. And Matt uses that backstop for a pretty makeable putt. I tap for 3. Matt goes 3. And Dad sinks the 3 as well. 17 is another uphole shot. No sand trap this time. No real OB except for across that path. Just throw it up there as hard as you can. Matt rips it and does a little karate move. Throw it up a little high, but it kind of gets some wind favor and ends up alright. And Dad throws a pretty nice shot. It's just a tad short, but not bad at all. I don't know why exactly Matt decided to go forehand here, if that was the line he was going to take. Maybe he just missed through it. And I lay up for 3. Matt just not even close. And then we're just doing Pilates and putts. Hole 18 to finish you off. 375, probably closer to 350 from the AMT. Just sand traps everywhere on this one. We all finish on 3s here on 18, which puts Dad at +2 and me and Matt at +3, so 57 and 258s. That put us in the top quarter of ranked people on West Winds thus far. So how do we feel about this course? Well, right off the bat, for being an early development of a course, I think it's pretty great. It was done quite well. I think there are a few things that can change, but I don't think there's ever been a course that was perfect right off the bat. A couple things that I would personally change is maybe take down the use of sand traps to add OBs right before the basket. I think there are more creative ways to add OBs. But for an early development of what is eventually going to be a pro course, hopefully, I think this is great to have in Maryland, and I think it's awesome to see the sport expand so much and have grounds like this that people can learn to play on. I mean, the course is surrounded by a neighborhood, so I really do think that this course is something special and something to watch out for as it grows over time. This has been Muddy Paws Disc Golf. I hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll see you later.